Hi, I'm Jessica Wall, the author of The Wise Divorce, and I'm a divorce and family law attorney in the metropolitan Detroit area. So today I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about this concept of mutual property restraining orders. So what is a mutual property restraining order? It is an order that you get right when you file a complaint for divorce if you are afraid that your spouse might dissipate marital assets during the pendency of the case. The order is mutual. It applies to you and your spouse. It doesn't stop you from conducting your normal business and paying your bills like you always did. The order just stops you from taking extraordinary measures. So it's an order that basically says you can't go out and charter a private plane if that's not a normal thing for you. You can't go out and buy a diamond ring if this is out of the scope of your normal expenditures for the month. You want to keep it the way in which things existed in your household prior to the filing. So the courts really want you and your spouse to address your differences as if you hadn't filed for divorce in terms of how you run your household, as long as how you do so is fair. If it's fair, you just keep doing what you did while you address your differences. And I'm going to take a moment to tell you a funny story about a client who was concerned about what his spouse might do once she filed for divorce. My former client got wind that his wife was going to file for divorce, and he was deathly afraid that she was going to dissipate the marital estates. The parties had significant assets, and he hadn't had the chance to speak to an attorney yet, just took matters into his own hands, and out of fear, he liquidated $1 million worth of the parties' assets. He then took the liquidated money and translated it into cash. He then took $1 million in cash, picture how many duffel bags that would be, and he put it in his friend's basement. Well, unfortunately, the friend's basement flooded. And this is before there was a mutual property restraining order, or my client had knowledge that he could get an order like this to protect his money and the marital estate from his wife, who did have a gambling problem, I should add. So that added to the motivation for my client to make sure he was protecting this $1 million. But of course, as I said, the basement flooded. And what did he do to fix that problem? He actually blew dry each of the bills by hand. Each bill was blow dried. Then the money was dried, and then it was okay to be put back into savings. Because once we got wind of this fact that he had wanted to protect this money, I said, we can protect this money with a court order. You don't have to actually put a sack of money in a friend's basement. So, moral of the story is, get a good attorney, learn your rights, figure out how to protect your assets in maybe a more reasonable manner. That's my tip for today. Thank you for watching me on The Wise Divorce. I'll catch you next time.